Listen up. This is the Music Scene Podcast. I am your host, Dave Cudrak. Today, we've got the amazing band Radio Revolution. And, you can catch them all over the South Jersey area. I know they play Caroline's by the Bay down in Ocean City quite a bit during the summer. I believe they're playing there tonight, actually, June 28th. And, catch them there multiple times this summer. I believe they also have a show coming up in July at the Hamilton Carnival. I forget the date, but look it up and go check them out. They're a great band, South Jersey area. They do mostly cover songs. They do have a few originals. We don't get a performance from them at the end of this episode because the whole band wasn't there for it. But it's a great episode. Love talking to those guys. And they've got tons and tons of stories about the South Jersey music scene, either currently or in the past, like around the 80s. If you've ever been around South Jersey during the 80s hair band era, with bands like Cinderella and Britney Fox, Black Eyed Susan, all those bands that were playing the Galaxy here in South Jersey, I think you're really going to dig this episode. We've got lots and lots of stories around that stuff. But yeah, go check them out. I really enjoyed having my conversation with them, and I hope you dig this episode. So here it is, my conversation with Radio Revolution. All right, well, we are here with Radio Revolution. Thank you guys for being on the podcast. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
All right, so let's go through introductions real quick. So, Jen, I met you at, I think you came to my gig at Geets. I think that was the first time I saw you in person. Didn't realize it was you. And then I think like a few days later, Leanne said something like, I think she was at your gig. And then I looked you up on Facebook and I'm like, oh, yeah, that's who that was. And then you came to my open mic at Little E's. So Jen, introduce yourself and what you do and all that stuff, please.
I'm Jen, and I am the lead singer of Radio Revolution.
Okay. And in the middle here?
I'm Joe. I play guitar and sing some lead vocals as well.
Okay.
And I'm Bill. I'm the bass player. I do not sing. I know my limitations, so I just play the bass.
He has one song that he's
One song.
All right.
And singing that would be a stretch. So all that singing.
All right. And how long have you guys been together as a band?
October of 2023. That's when I
Okay.
joined. Joe called me up to do a filling gig, and it's my kind of gig. We didn't even practice. He just said,
Right.
Bill, he called me on a Tuesday. Can you play Friday? I was like, great. Give me the songs. What key are they in? What's on the MP3? We showed up, and we had a great time down there.
Remember that?
Yeah, not only that, but if I could, the in between the first and second set, we were playing this place, the Sunset Grill in Ocean City, Maryland.
Okay.
And it's like a block long and almost all of it's open, but you don't even play in the bar. You
Right.
play in a bandstand in the marina that's about a story high above
nice.
everybody.
It's like a barge, actually.
Yeah.
I think
Exactly.
It's floating, yeah.
Oh, that's
So you
cool.
see everybody and everybody sees you. Well,
Yeah.
Jen says, hey, Bill, come with me and walk. I was like, okay. And we get, I don't know, maybe about 100 feet into the bar,
Mhm.
and we run into a bachelorette party of women between 45 and 55. I held court to the point where we got over $300 in tips that night.
There we go.
Wow.
Third set, they took our tip jar all around the.
Oh, nice.
So
That's
yeah, I was in heaven that night. And Joe was like, well, maybe we should ask Bill to join.
Yeah,
the
this
band."
guy should stick around.
Yeah.
And then how about you two? Have you been in bands before Radio Revolution or like together, I mean?
Not together, but
Okay.
when probably I would say a good 12 years ago, I was in a band called Impact.
Okay.
And there are some players still around playing in other bands that were in that band as
Mhm.
well, but I won't name any names. But yeah, and then I've been with Radio Revolution since beginning of 2023.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Yep.
Yeah, so basically I played with bands like, I guess it was since like the early 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And then I actually stopped. In the 90s, I did that whole grunge thing. Mostly did a lot of original stuff.
Yep.
Got a chance to open up for some national acts and
Oh,
stuff.
yeah? Who'd you open up for?
Toadies,
Oh, nice.
Goldfinger, and a band called the Y Store at the time. I don't think they were as big as the Toadies.
Okay.
But it was a lot of fun. We had a lot of good stuff. We did some record company showcases. You could see how far that got me. Here we are, But I had a lot of fun. And it was like the late '90s. It was like '98, somewhere around there, and that's when I basically pulled the plug and said I had enough, of playing, because I was doing cover bands in the '80s and then mostly original in the '90s.
Okay.
And it was time to start a family. So,
right.
I had my son at first, and then my daughter.
Yep.
So I did the family thing for a while. I still kept doing music, but it wasn't performing out anymore. I have a recording studio that I don't do it as much, but I still have very select projects that I take on.
Nice.
And so I've been doing that. I worked with some bigger people, and which was great over the years, and just a lot of local people. And with that being said, so I did that about, I guess, getting close to like 15 years ago or so. I started getting the itch to start playing out. So I started doing a lot, just went out acoustically by myself, solo.
Yep.
And I did that for a while. And then, you kind of only do that so long. And it's like, oh, then you get like one other person that comes up with you. And then it's like, well, maybe we could put a band together. And then we started doing originals again. And then it slowly morphed into the cover land, because I was like, oh, maybe I make a few dollars doing covers.
Yep.
And here we are.
Nice. Awesome. Where did you get your start, Jen? When did you first start singing and doing music and stuff?
I actually started karaoke.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
Were you a regular at all the karaoke bars then, or?
I lived in Pennsylvania. My aunt one day just drugged me out. She's like, you have to come to this bar. I know that they would love you. And before that, I had not gone out and sung in public.
Yep.
And I went, and that was it.
How did it go the first day? Did everybody love you like she said they would?
They did.
Nice.
They did. I was surprised, that they did.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
The rest
Okay.
is history.
Do you play any instruments, or you're strictly a singer?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't.
All right. Yep.
I could play little things. On
Okay.
the piano, but nothing grand.
Gotcha. And how about you? When did you start?
I started playing the bass in high school. I actually wanted to play the guitar. And in high school, I went to Paul VI. I graduated in '78, and no guitars. Everybody wanted to play guitar, so I went for the drums. And I got lucky. The bass player, who was a junior in my freshman year, had been in band for 3 years. And he didn't want to be in band his senior year, because he found out that if you were in band for 4 years, you got a letter and you had to accept it in front of the assembly. And he didn't want to accept a letter from band in front of the assembly.
That's hilarious.
So I got to play the bass, and almost everybody in jazz band and dance band, all the kids, have been playing since they were in single digits. So when you play with people who are better than you, you get better. So I was very lucky. And then also bass players were hard to find.
Sure.
Kind of my first working band in 1980 with 4 other guys. We went through Gary Catcherbone, the Catcherbone brothers, who used to play the Echelon Tavern, the Deptford Tavern, the Alpine Lodge, which is now Rax in Williamstown.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, places like that. Then I got the itch, and I started writing original music. And from '82 to '94, I was trying to get signed to a record label. That's all I did.
Oh, really?
I actually got called by Atlantic Records in '86.
Did
but
you?
did not get signed.
Oh.
No. And,
what led up to them calling you? You must have been doing some things then to get.
No,
their attention.
actually, I wasn't. I had my first degree is in accounting.
Okay.
And was not doing well at it, so I went back because I had a good time my first time through college. So I went and was going back for my comp sci degree, which is what I do now. I do engineering, computer science, computer programming for the Navy.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, it's a pretty cool job. And so I decided not to screw up my grades, because the money was also paying for my recording. So I was sending out to the record companies. A friend of mine worked for the Friday Morning Quarterback. I don't know if you know what that is.
No.
It's right on Cuthbert Boulevard.
Okay.
It's a magazine that I can't remember the guy's name right now. He started something in the 50s locally for like the top 20, and it grew by the time my friend joined in '79 up and down the East Coast.
Nice.
He had some great stories, especially when David Coverdale and Tony Catan came in the office one time.
Oh, really?
You would never know this place is there, and it's called Friday Morning Quarterback.
Still there?
Yes, it's still there.
Yeah.
Wow.
He works down in Nashville. He moved there 4 years ago doing another cool job. But anyway, he got me all the addresses. They had art people.
Yep.
And for the second single, which was more rock, got a call from this guy in California. He called himself Ken Commissar. I don't know sure if that was his real name. We had to wait because it wasn't on our list. And sometimes if they have too many people, they might give it to Finelli's talent agency to look. And if they hear something, he would get part of my some points off my albums.
Okay.
So my friend Mark checked. He's like, no, he's all good. It just come over from Geffen Records.
Oh, no.
3 weeks ago. And he was like, yeah, I like it. I couldn't get anybody else interested, but do you have anything else? I was like, as a matter of fact, I'm getting my next single pressed. I got it back with a Post-it note. So, and then by the fourth single, if I got a rejection notice, I got that I had to come to a publishing company, a lawyer, some kind of representation.
Yep.
So my friend Tim Zerone, who owns a music place on 73, put me in touch with Phil Valentino.
Okay.
Phil Valentino was the keyboard player and the owner of the Fabulous Exceptions, now known as the Exceptions.
Okay.
Phil died a little over 2 years ago. When do you ever get a lawyer doing stuff for you for free? He was like, he heard the music, was like, I'm all in.
Yeah.
Shot professional video. We
nice.
tried to shop it.
Yep.
Just couldn't get anybody interested. And by 94, I knew it was over.
Oh.
I took a break, then came back in 2008. I got married during that time and unfortunately divorced a little later, and have just been rolling along ever since.
Okay.
Probably the band you would know me most from is 99 Reasons. I started.
Yeah,
I started that in 2014 with Rich Bradley.
Yeah, I had Rich in here maybe a month ago. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So we started that. We actually, I had been trying to do something like that since 2010.
Okay.
Rich joined me in 2012, and we kept having these little, oh, we got it. No, we don't. Yes, we do. No, we don't. And finally in 2014, I was working down in Pomona at the time for the FAA. I said, we got to do this. And we really hustled. We got it out together. And then after a year, I left just because there were too many differences with me, and not with Rich, but a couple other people in the band.
Yep.
And then came back about 3 years later when Carl had taken over for me.
Okay.
Had some medical issues and was with them for a year, and then moved on to other things, and wound up with Joe and Jen. Like I said, in October of 2023.
Nice.
That's my journey.
Yeah.
That's the short version. Too.
So you guys both had like musical hiatuses, right?
Yes.
How about you? Had you ever taken time off from music?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the reason?
I think just life.
Yeah.
My daughter was young, and I ended up going through a divorce.
Okay.
And had to figure out life. So I had to take time off, and I really wanted to get back into it, but just didn't know how.
Yeah.
And it just happened at the right time.
That's cool. Yeah, I mean, you'd be surprised. I mean, I don't know if you've listened to any episodes, but I want to say the majority of my guests, including myself, had like 10, 20-year hiatuses because of, marriage or kids or life in general,
Right.
but it always seems to call you back to it, right? You can't it doesn't go away.
Well, when you say you went on hiatus too, like I know people who put down their instruments. I never put down.
Oh, really? Okay.
I was always playing with some people. I used to do the Mass on Channel 6 for a while.
Yep.
Through somebody I knew through one of the churches.
Yep.
Yeah, I never stopped.
Yeah, no, I
can't
stopped for
pick
like
it up
20
every
years.
night.
You stopped playing altogether.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
No.
Yeah.
I didn't stop either. I just
Yeah.
didn't do live performing.
Oh, okay. I hear you.
Actually, I swore I would never do it again.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
I know there's nothing quite like it, right? I mean, whether you're up on a big stage or just in the corner of a room somewhere, it's so much fun. Like what other job can you like go to and people clap?
Right. And that you could drink at,
Right, exactly.
Well, it's even better yet, you
Exactly.
drink on the job.
That's right. So let's talk a little bit about influences, right? So how about your influences? Who are some of your main ones?
I mean, probably growing up, one of my main bands was The Who, believe it or not.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I saw them, was like, it was like 1982 when they were at JFK Stadium.
Okay.
And there was The Who, Santana, The Clash, and the Hooters.
Nice.
And that was a really good concert. It was my first concert, and I was, went there to see them.
Mm-hmm.
And Pink Floyd was another, I guess, big influence on my playing.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, I never got, really to get to see them. And Led Zeppelin. There was like Jimi Hendrix was another. There's a lot of like the real classic, kind of, bands. I've seen a lot of bands over the years in concert, and although I don't go really that much anymore,
Right.
especially with the price of tickets.
I
And
know, it's crazy.
I was looking back at, like, I collected all my stuff. It's like,
I have all mine,
$12,
too.
whatever,
Yeah.
$15. I remember when Live Aid, was there, and it was like $35 for a ticket. I was like, oh my God, this is outrageous. But that's like 2 beers now or something like that,
I have the ticket stub to my first ACDC
event.
concert back in like 86 maybe, or 83. And it was like $9.
Yeah, it's crazy
Yeah.
how cheap they were.
Yeah. How about you, Jen? What are some of your influences?
Mine were like Whitney, Mariah,
Okay. Yep.
country-wise, Martina McBride, LeAnn Rimes,
Mm-hmm.
the big voices.
I hear you. I hear you. Do you lean more rock or country in your style, your own style?
I don't.
No.
I know.
You're just kind of all over.
Yeah, I feel like I'm all over. I like everything.
Nice. Nice. How about you? Influences?
Well, the Beatles are what got me into it.
Okay.
Nowhere, man. But
Yep.
then when I got into high school and I started playing the bass, this kid I knew who I thought was really cool because he played the guitar, had a Les Paul, told me 3 albums you got to get: Kiss Alive, Black Sabbath, Paranoid, and Led Zeppelin 4.
Nice.
And having listened to nothing metal in my life, I mean, my parents listened to WIP, so I was growing up with Sinatra
Okay.
and all that.
Yeah.
The
WIP before it was sports then.
Yes, exactly. Wait, yeah, because I am old. I handed Moses those bricks. So so what happened? So what happened was when I listened, I hated the Kiss album,
Yeah.
but it was so easy to play. That's what I
Okay.
learned. I
All
love
right.
that album.
Yep.
And then this whole area, especially when Cinderella got signed in '86.
Oh,
But there was another band in this area called the Dead End Kids. We all thought they were going
the
to get
Dead
signed.
End Kids.
I found them in
Okay.
1979
Mhm.
with a buddy of mine playing down in Wildwood. And they played this area. It was Georgie Rumble, Kelly James, Bill Madsen, who did get signed. I think it was '87 when Tangier got signed
Okay.
out of the Galaxy. Incredible vocals.
The Galaxy.
Jimmy Durning was the drummer when I saw him, and Tommy Carter was the bass player. That's how
Okay.
much an influence. As a matter of fact, if you go to my Facebook page,
Yep.
you will see a video of them before Kelly James joined the band.
Okay.
They were full out all the time.
That was
it like
Tangier,
going
you
to a
said?
concert.
Tangier?
No.
Oh, the Dead End Kids. I'm
Dead
sorry.
End Kids,
Dead End
yeah.
Kids. Yep.
And then they broke up around the '83, and that's when Bill Madsen joined Tangier.
Oh, okay.
Jimmy Durnick was actually in Cinderella, but he did not
Was he?
get signed. Yeah,
Okay.
as I understand it, Tommy Keeper was signed along with Eric Brittingham,
Okay.
but the rest of them were to be paid, like Jeff LeBar.
Oh,
was
they were like
paid.
hired guns.
Yeah, and
yep.
I mean they were part of the band, but
Yep.
they were hired.
They were employees.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yep. Yep.
Same with Jimmy, and he wasn't doing what Dirk Shulman needed for him in the
Okay.
studio to do.
Yep.
So they got somebody else, and eventually, and I don't even think Fred Corey, who was the drummer on the album covers,
Okay.
I don't think he played on the first album
Right,
too, if I
right.
remember correctly.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
you know, it's a business.
It's interesting the way those contracts work. I didn't find out till years later that same deal with Bon Jovi. Like when Bon Jovi first made it big, it was John Bon Jovi only on that record contract. Like Richie Sambora was an employee, and it was like, what? You know, I don't know how it turned out later, but yeah, like for like the first 2 albums, I think they were all just employees.
Yeah. Did you ever see the video with him playing with Scandal?
No.
Oh yeah, you got to look it up. It has who's the guy who was Paul who played on David Letterman's
Paul Schaefer.
Paul
Yeah.
Schaefer is the keyboard player on there. It's really cool, and John looks total rocked out '80s.
I'll have to check it out.
It's a great video.
That's awesome.
But I remember reading that he was offered to join the band, but he was like, "No, I want to go my own direction."
Oh wow, that's
So yeah, so I mean, this area was hot.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yep.
The Galaxy played some of the best.
I know.
The Galaxies, Bonnie's, the Cell Block.
Bonnie's.
Oh my God,
Oh,
Bonnie.
man.
Bonnie's now a Dollar General.
Yeah.
The Cell Block is a public storage area. Every place I used to hang in Wildwood is gone.
crazy.
It's like, did Bill go there? Did Bill play there? Knock it down.
Yeah, right. I used to when I was a kid. I mean, I'm 52, so we're probably similar in age. But I used to go to a place in Pennsauken because I was a hardcore metalhead. We used to go to a place called G. Willikers.
Yeah.
And every like Wednesday or Thursday they had like death metal night, and
Yep.
it was fan-fucking-tastic. I saw the band Death there, and and they were like they created death metal basically, and I think that place only held like 300 people. You know, it's like insane. And that's like a
You ever
laundromat
hear
now.
the band Machine Dog?
Machine Dog? No.
Oh yeah, they used to play. See, G Willikers used to be, I believe, Dr. Jekyll's first.
Oh, maybe. That sounds familiar.
Willikers,
Maybe.
and then
Yeah.
I remember in the late '80s because I used to go record at Windy Studio in Gibbsboro with Joe DeLuca and Dave Cluse, and they had a band there called Machine Dog, and it was like Anthrax but local.
Oh, really?
It was
Nice.
awesome. I
That's
loved it.
great.
Cool story too. A couple of years later, I used to, because I always talk about, my music, I'd have my records on my cubicle at work. So people,
Oh, yeah,
here's
yeah.
proof it's in the eating of the pudding. And one guy goes there, who was one of our techs, he goes, "Did you ever hear a band called Machine Dog?" And I said, "Prescription for Sickness, Pound the Clown, Instigator." He's like, "Oh my God." I said, "How do you know?" He goes, that's my wife's brother."
Oh,
Oh my
nice.
God. So I
Nice.
guess you got special treatment at work.
Yeah, right. I know
for
that's
that.
awesome. Yeah, no, my friend played bass for Mortal Decay, if you've ever heard of them. And there were a couple other bands, but yeah, it was all like death metal type stuff. So anyway,
So
do you have particular places that you play on a regular basis? Like where are some of your places that you usually play?
Caroline's.
Yeah.
Summers Point. That's
Okay.
locally.
yeah, that's probably like become our home base, even though it's not
Okay.
at home. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
Nugget Tavern.
That's become another one. Yeah, it's been a pretty good home base.
I've seen a few bands play at Golden Nugget Tavern. Where? Oh, Golden Nugget Tavern in Berlin.
Yeah.
Right. I thought you were talking about the casino
So
for a
we
second.
dabbled,
Yep.
I guess was about like a little over a year ago or something like that, where we actually put a country version of the band together.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I was gonna say Golden Nugget's pretty country.
Yeah,
Yeah. So do you whip out some more of the country songs when you're there?
we do.
Yeah.
We have a special guest singer, Sean, that comes up
Okay.
with us and sings, with us and stuff. So
Nice.
he has a great fit for the country stuff. So we bring him up, and so that's we kind of do that there. Like right now, like a handful of shows a year, and so it kind of morphs because what you have like the line dancers, like probably like at least the first good set, maybe in 3/4, and then all of a sudden it morphs from like the people are there for the country and the line dance. The young kids start coming in.
Okay. Yep. As it gets later, I
Yes.
guess, right? Yep.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
So by the third set, we're into pretty much, dance music and rap
Yep.
and party stuff, whatever.
Yeah. Yep. That's cool. Nice.
Yeah.
So how many other band members are there?
Just one.
Just one. What's his name?
Bobby.
Bobby. And
Bob
what's
Bella.
he do? Play drums?
He plays drums.
Okay.
He
Nice.
wasn't able to make it.
That's all right. That's cool. How long has he been in the band?
Well, I guess.
A little over a year.
Yeah.
Okay.
He joined a couple months after I did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So
Gotcha.
maybe in January last year.
Yep. All right. Cool. Any big shows coming up? Anything on the calendar? I mean, yeah, I think I saw a bit of your calendar. I think your summers are pretty busy.
It
right?
is. Yeah.
Yeah. So what
I
you
don't
guys?
know what our count is, but
Yeah.
it's pretty busy.
Yeah.
Weekend.
Nice.
Yeah, the summer gigs are the best. We're playing down the shore at the Carolines, of course, but
Yep.
we're also playing the beach club down in Wildwood,
Oh, nice.
which is awesome. I love
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Are we back at the Mud Hen yet this year? Or
No.
Not yet. At least not yet.
I've been to the Mudhead before. I've never played there, but I've been there, and that's a happening spot.
Yeah.
How about Dewey's down in Delaware? I've heard good things about Dewey's.
We are some Lighthouse Point or something. What is it called? Or I don't even remember.
Yeah.
There's something around that where, like,
Sunset Grill.
yeah, that's
Oh, okay.
in Ocean City, Maryland.
Yep.
I
Nice.
think that's in Chesapeake.
We have played in the past. We played the Chesapeake Inn.
Nice.
But
So-
we can Dewey.
Okay. Yeah. No, I just published their episode today. The Gab Cinque band. I don't know if you. Yeah.
See her a few weeks
Oh,
ago.
that's right. I saw that post. Yeah. They say they played down at Dewey's quite a bit,
Oh.
and it's like amazing. Like the place is always packed and all that stuff. So yeah, you guys should just definitely try to get in there for sure. Yep. Do you guys ever split up like the band and do like duo or trio type stuff?
We do. Yeah.
Okay. What's
yeah.
that look like?
Primarily, it's Jen and I. We do the duo.
Yep.
And then once in a while, I guess, well, not so much with this version of the band, but we have done like the trio where the bass player had come out with us, where sometimes we go out with the drummer,
Okay.
in the past, we have done that too.
Nice.
So, but primarily right now, I guess the demand has mostly been the duo.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, as far as, like the
Aside from the full
Yeah.
band. Yeah, I got
yeah,
it.
we try not to, although we do have some shows on Fridays and Saturdays, but we try to, as much as we can, avoid that and reserve that for the band. And
Right.
like
Right.
we have like every other Thursday starting May 1st, we'll be at Caroline's doing like a happy hour
Oh,
on a
okay.
Thursday.
Yep.
and we'll be playing every other week till the end of August.
Nice.
And then like during the week or like a Sunday or something like that, if we can, maybe we'll do the duo with that.
Yep.
But there are some dates. It's not like there's none, but we try to reserve that as much as we can for the band.
Yeah, sure. You mentioned with the recording studio that you've worked with some folks. If you don't mind, drop some names for us. Somebody that
Probably the one person I probably worked with a lot was a young lady. Her name is Bianca Ryan. Did a lot of stuff, like a lot of demo stuff for her and all that. And she had won the first year of America's Got Talent.
Oh, she did?
Yeah.
Okay.
And one time she was working with like Quincy Jones and a lot of other big names and stuff like that. So it was a pretty cool experience.
Nice.
That I was like part of.
Yep.
Unfortunately, she had, I'm not sure exactly what happened, but something where her vocal cord had an issue and it hindered her, from being able to sing, unfortunately.
Yeah. That's
kind of put her out of commission.
Sure.
I think she's back. I know she had the surgery and everything and she's back, but I don't think she's not pursuing the music like at that, point in time.
Yeah.
She was signed with Sony Records.
That's crazy.
Then I did some stuff for Peaches and Herb.
Oh, really?
It was actually mostly video editing and stuff like that.
Yep.
At that time. So that probably, as far as that goes, that was pretty much it. And just a lot of like local acts and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's cool.
So, yeah.
You'll still do it occasionally, like
Yeah. It's not like something I do all the time, but I do, like I said, I'm pretty selective about it these days. Not just, don't want to work with anybody, somebody kind of basically has, their talent. I don't want to be, doing reconstructive surgery with vocals and tuning them and all that.
Right.
I like to just kind of do my thing.
Yeah, it's got to be nice to just be able to kind of pick and choose, right?
Yeah.
I know, like with me, right? When I first started gigging, I was like, I book all my own shows. 99.9% of them I book on my own shows. I have one or two agencies that might be like, hey, I got a gig, are you available? And I'll take it,
Okay.
Who books your shows? Are you kind of booking your own, or do you work with agencies, or
A mixture?
Yeah,
we do book some stuff ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
and we have like probably at least a half a dozen agents that
nice.
that also feed us some work as well.
Very cool, very cool. And are some of these? I mean, you've been around for a little while, right, as a band, so I would imagine you don't have to put in too much legwork now, right? I mean, you've established a reputation with some venues that's
true.
Kind of automatically pull you back.
But there's always you're always trying to get into new venues, and then of course, like it just never stops. I mean, as far as like putting, excuse me, like whether little videos you're editing, that, making phone calls, trying to get into places. Of course, the back end of trying to learn new stuff, new material, and rehearsing, and so it just kind of never stops.
Sure.
We also do our own production, so a lot of it is like the racks and stuff like that we put together, and I spend a lot of time soldering the wires and doing whatever, customizing a lot of the stuff. So, basically we can get in. I think we're down to about like 40 minutes now, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
We could be shorter, but Joe goes,
Yeah.
geez, what's heavier, this piece of equipment or this one? I'll take the heavier one. Bill, get this in there.
Right.
Bobby's coming. Get him to get that stuff in here.
I think there's a couple places Caroline's being one of them where there's an act on before us, and we're like, there's like a period of we have like an hour of like a changeover.
Yeah.
So we're about down to 40 minutes. I think
Nice.
we do 40, maybe 45 minutes tops, and
That's great. Now, what do you bring into a gig? Like, are you bringing full amps, or do you have just?
I use just the floorboard.
Okay.
He brings an amp.
Yeah, but just a small hard key, mainly for little stage volume, especially. Even though Bobby has we all have in-ears.
Yeah.
It's just normally for the drummer. Like when I used to play the Galaxy or any of the other original clubs, I used to just listen to myself through the mains, but I'd have a small PV mix next to the drummer just so he could hear me separate from it.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah,
it's sort
yeah.
of like just a backup, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's mostly what Joe's driving when I go through the direct and into the mains.
Okay. Nice. What kind of gear are you working with? Like, what's your bass guitar?
Well, if you've ever seen me play, I go through basses like every 3 or 4 years.
Oh, yeah.
So I use the Ibanez 350 series.
Okay.
If you ever come out to my gigs, you'll see that instead of having the regular screws in there, I have 3-inch wood screws to hold my straps in with washers.
Holy crap.
I have.
Are you like twirling the bass around? Like,
Much, yeah.
are you
Yeah,
really?
I just posted a video
Yeah?
today, which has some pretty good stuff I'm
Nice.
doing there. I have stage ADD, so
I have to watch out.
I mean,
I'm
I-
Right. Get out of the
I-
line.
I
Hasn't
am
hit
from-
none of us yet.
yet
Keyword,
not
yet.
word. But I am from the '80s. I mean, part
Well,
of the
yeah,
things was
yep.
we had to have the music when we were playing the original stuff, but we also you had to be
Entertaining.
poser. Yeah, I mean, poser got a bad name because it was entertaining to watch, and if you
Sure.
weren't entertaining to watch,
Yep.
didn't matter how good your music was, everybody was there.
Right, right. Well,
I mean, Heaven's Edge, look at them; they were incredible.
yeah, they were great.
And still are.
Yep, yep.
Yeah. So-
Well, I mean, like Cinderella had the choreographed moves on stage and the guitar spinning and all that
Well,
stuff.
they got the
you know?
guitar spinning from the Dead End Kids.
Did they really?
The first time I saw the Shake Me video and I saw Jeff LeBar and Tommy Kiefer throw it around, there, it's like, yeah, they had to be at some Dead End Kid shows with me somewhere in the crowd for all that time.
That's
'Cause I remember Tommy Kiefer's cover band before that was Saints in Hell, and they used to play right in Mount Ephraim on the Black Horse Pike at Hollywood. It was called
Hollywood.
And
Okay.
it was Rathskeller down in the
Yep.
basement and stuff. Yeah, and
Nice.
I just
Remember that place?
yeah, they just had a video on them. Somebody did a deep dive on them and posted on YouTube
Okay,
about
yep.
how Tommy Kiefer met Eric Brinningham while he was in Saints in Hell. So,
Nice, nice.
yeah.
I knew a guy way back in the day, like in 2 previous lives before. And like in other words, friend of like my first wife and stuff. Anyway, his name was Chris, and I don't know his last name. You might know it if you know him. His name was Chris. He was a drummer, and he played in Black Eyed Susan, which was a spin-off of Cinderella,
Right.
apparently.
No,
yeah.
it's actually Brittany Fox.
Oh, is this? That's
Brittany
right.
Fox,
That's
yeah,
right. A
yeah,
spin-off of
because-
Brittany Fox.
Yeah,
So do you
Dizzy-
know a
Dizzy.
guy named Chris?
No, I do not
No?
know Chris.
Okay. Yeah.
The guys from Brittany Fox were there at the time with the Galaxy when I was there. But
Yeah.
I didn't know anybody in Black. In fact, the only time I saw Black Eyed Susan was when they opened up for Heaven's Edge at the Truck.
Oh, okay.
When Heaven's
Yeah.
Edge had just gotten signed.
Yeah.
So-
I had that Heaven's Edge album, the first one.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's awesome.
It's great.
I mean, they're all the new album was incredible too
Yeah.
last year.
Yeah.
It was so great. Heaven's Edge came out with an album a week later. Winger came out with a new album a week later. Extreme came out with a new album.
Yeah.
Rise. Oh my God.
Yeah,
that solo
man.
was incredible.
Yep. Well, how about you? What are you playing? What kind of guitar? Electric, acoustic,
Um,
brand, all
I'm
that stuff?
partial to Fender Stratocasters.
Yeah, me too.
I don't like the pickups in them, so I usually put it in the bridge. I put a JB Junior.
Oh, really?
And then I'm partial to the lace pickups, especially for the neck and the middle pickup. I
Okay.
like them.
So you're just using the 3 single coils, right? You don't, do you have
well,
a humbucker in any of them or no?
The JB Junior is a humbucker.
Oh, it is.
Yeah,
Okay.
in a single. It's a humbucker, but in a single, pickup.
Okay. Nice. And
Like configuration.
do you play? So are they all strictly like Fender Strats, American made stuff?
Pretty much,
or-
yeah. American made.
yeah.
I just got an Ultra. I have a Fender Strat Plus Deluxe. That one needs a little TLC with the frets, so I got to actually get that in. I kind of forget about it, still sitting in the case, but that was like my baby
Yeah.
for a long time. I have I don't know, something part of the show on like certain songs. I get a beer bottle and I use it, I guess, for like some slide stuff, and I get heavy handed with it, and I like kind of like smacking it, and I've created like divots in the fret.
Oh, geez.
So now when you bend them, like it gets like stuck. So that's the Strat Plus Deluxe. So I got to get that taken care of. I should probably put stainless steel frets in.
Right.
But so that's pretty much it. Nowadays, trying to keep the weight down as much as possible. I just use a Helix,
Oh, okay.
board.
Yep.
Just go direct.
Nice.
And we use the in-ears. I did have an FR cab for it, but I only did that briefly, maybe for about 6 months. And I'm like, you know what? It's nice to have some stage volume, but then I'm like putting my ears in anyway.
Yeah. Yep.
So
Yep. That's cool.
I was like, plus it's one more thing to carry, set up.
And it makes it
right.
easy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Are you making your own sounds in that Helix? Or
I
do you
did.
use
I
presets?
spent like on and off for like a couple days. I actually, what I did was I got one of the PA cabinets and dialed it in through that, because I figured, you know what, that's what it's coming out. That's what they're going to hear.
That's a good point.
So I actually sat with it and dialed it and made a patch, from scratch. and I have like maybe 5 snapshots of that one patch. I'm not like one of those kind of people that are going to have like, multiple lamps and this and that. I mean, you figure if you're out gigging, you're only bringing, most people,
Right.
are bringing 1 amp and maybe a handful of pedals.
Yep.
Well, that's my concept with, with that.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's pretty much it. That's, what I do. And I just have I think, I don't even know if it's a real Fender Strat as a knockoff for my backup. It actually plays well.
Nice.
So but yeah, so I bring that out as the backup, and my primary right now is the Fender Strat Ultra.
Nice.
I like it.
Very nice. Do you use any pedals or any effects on your stuff?
No. I only use that sort of stuff when I record.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
No, I just go straight,
Yep.
just the bottom end, because we're playing. I cared more about my tone and stuff when I was doing my original music. Back in
Okay.
the day.
Sure.
But right now, you need just the bottom, to feel it, then hear it,
Right.
for the dance music and stuff.
Yeah, I mean that's a good point. Like a lot of people stress about even guitar, right? Guitar versus bass. Like I don't stress too much about like the tone of my guitar when I'm playing live, right? Because nobody really cares
Right.
that much.
Yeah, a musician will, but then you can always
Right.
you played that different. Oh, that was the live version. Oh, okay. Yeah, you never heard it? Go look it up on YouTube.
Right, exactly.
I mean, the modeling stuff's pretty good today. I mean,
It
overall,
is.
I mean,
It
it
is. Yep.
sounds pretty realistic.
Yep, I've seen quite a few people live that just plug that thing into the board. Go right into the PA. It's great.
Yeah.
How about you, Jen? Are you particular to any partial to any particular microphones and stuff like that, or no?
Just use what he brings.
Yeah, the Shure SM58.
It's taken me a while
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
in ears,
Yep.
but
Yeah.
that's about it.
I've never used in-ears before, so I mean, teach me a little bit about those. I mean, obviously I know what they are, but I've heard some people hate them because you can't hear the audience, and some people like them because you get a full mix in your ears. What's your take on them?
Well, I mean, I've had ones where there's a high. This is a big thing with us. It has been for. Sometimes I can't hear because there's so much background coming through the mic.
Okay.
Feedback, I guess. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's too high, so I look for an ear that has more bass.
Oh, okay.
I honestly don't know what I'm talking about. I just know just from hearing it. And as far as my mix, I only really like to hear myself
Okay.
and the music, not Bill or even singing with Joe. I don't have his voice.
Oh, really? Okay. Interesting. What about you guys? What do you prefer in your ears?
There you go.
No, I only use one ear.
Oh, okay.
So I
All right.
tape the other one up
Yep.
and just have one in so I can hear like mostly Joe's guitar, because Joe loves me to hear his guitar. So that's,
Which
Yeah, sure.
Oh, you do? Okay.
I don't know. You tell me what you want. I mean, yeah. I mean,
I can turn it up louder, Bill. Here we go. No,
Which
but
ear are you listening for his guitar? The one.
it's usually in my my left ear here, so I put it in there.
Okay.
I just keep the other one open, and then it just
Yeah.
keep cue. It's more for cueing at the beginning of the song.
Oh,
After
okay.
that, I mean, I know the music, so
Yeah.
just
As long as you hear the drum, you can kind of keep the beat.
Right.
All that stuff.
as
Yeah.
long as the women are dancing in front of me.
yeah.
That's fine.
I know it's a very debated topic amongst musicians, so we'll keep it short, but we do use backing tracks.
Oh, you do?
Yes.
Okay. I don't think I've talked to anybody who does. So explain to me kind of how that came back. What are you using? I mean, are you using like keyboards and stuff?
Yeah,
Or...
there's keyboards,
Yeah.
fiddles, strings, organ,
Okay.
Whatever. Yeah,
Yep,
pretty
yep.
much.
Nice.
And I know some people are purists and stuff. You know
Right.
what I found? Women don't care. They want to dance. As long as you sound good,
Well, that's right.
they'll be
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
You can see what the
Yeah.
driving motivation besides money is for me in these bands.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously the drummer, we each have our own custom in-ear mix that, tailored to what we want in there.
Yep.
Like Jen just wants to hear the vocals. Bill likes my guitar, so I have him up,
This guitar.
whereas the drummer would have mostly the click would be the loudest thing in his.
Oh,
So,
okay.
he could follow that.
Yep.
I have a combination of mostly, of course, the click, the track, my guitar, my vocal, and even with Jen. I mean, she's in there, but it's very, very low. And,
Okay.
and everybody basically is like, they're in there, but it's like not, it's like the more me mix,
Yeah, yeah.
So I keep that like, so I can concentrate on what I'm doing.
Right, right.
And, the nice thing about it is, I mean, I have the rack that I have, it has a built-in split. So
Mhm.
we've played at like casinos or other venues where they have, you know, front of house sound.
Mm-hmm.
So we can do what we do, and I can give them the raw, you know, signal, plus it goes to my rack. So like literally we could be playing a little Italian restaurant, or I have played concert stages, which I don't want to go into that, but where it's the same mix
Right.
everywhere you go. So that's the nice part.
That's cool.
I mean, the in-ears do fit pretty tight, but you know, there's still, I mean, I don't know, you can still hear the audience. You can still hear what's going on. They're not like, I don't have custom in-ears. We just use these, they're like, but they're like, well, they're like these 19, like, for $20 pair of
Oh,
in-ears.
okay.
Yeah, KZ, KS4s or something like that. You get them off of Amazon.
Yeah.
They sound really good for $20.
Yeah.
I've had other in-ears that cost me a lot more money, but you know, they're not custom molded. So with that, I replaced the tips on them. So they're, you know, they're like foam tips, but you still hear what's going on.
Okay.
It's not like a total seal.
Right. I got you. So the backing tracks thing, right? I assume if you're playing, let's say you're playing like a Journey song,
Right.
and it has a keyboard in it, but you don't have a keyboardist,
Correct.
you're just playing the backing track part for that. Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah. Like Don't Stop Believing, you know,
Right.
it comes right in with the piano.
Yeah.
Thus, you know, that's that.
Yeah.
And it's kind of cool, I think, you know, for what we do. And like I said, you know, some people are obviously purists, not trying to get into a debate, but you know, that's what we do. And
Yeah, I mean, I don't see a problem with it at all. I mean, if you're trying to entertain a crowd and all, you know, and you can't really justify bringing on a keyboardist into the band, then why not?
Right.
You know what I mean?
You don't have to pay the track.
That's right.
Yeah. That's right.
Exactly right.
That's true.
Yep.
Yeah, so it takes a little bit of time. I mean, I, you know, put them together
Mm-hmm.
and, you know, I have my own like little system or whatever.
Yeah.
Get a lot of stuff off of, you know, karaokeversion.com.
Okay. Yep.
So I get them, you know, there. And then a lot of times I'll customize the mixes or,
Mm-hmm.
you know, do things beyond. I'll download the individual tracks, bring them into Pro Tools.
Yep.
And I mix them, you know, and master them in there.
Oh, wow.
And so it's not just as easy as just saying, oh, download a track. And
Right,
I spend some time with it.
Yeah.
And then I do like custom things. We have like a couple songs that like, you know, there's no stock track that does what it does.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of like do our own little thing with it. And so I do add stuff or whatever.
Yeah.
Of course, there's like medleys and stuff that don't exist, you know, and all
yeah,
that.
of course.
So,
Yep.
you know, I got to put them together.
Yep.
So that's
Yeah.
kind of like where we're at.
Do you do like mashups of songs on stage? Medleys?
Mashup. We've done we do medleys, but not so much mashups. Actually, I
Okay.
have one that I don't want to reveal just yet until it's done or
Uh-oh.
out. But I have one that's interesting because like nobody has it, and I haven't quite finished it yet. But yeah,
Nice. That's cool.
so that would
Just
probably
to
be.
say, if you're a big fan of the Wiggles, be prepared.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It's been years since I watched that show. Kids are all grown now.
It's a mashup between the Wiggles and Teletubbies.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Strap in, folks.
Been there with all that. All them shows.
I do one mashup in my live gigs. I do an acoustic version of "You Shook Me All Night Long" from AC/DC, and I changed it to a minor key and I slow it down so it's very like acoustic vibey. And then I in the middle of it I throw the chorus to "Flowers" from Miley Cyrus because it's basically the same chord progression the way I do it. And it's funny because when I first start playing it, people are like, what is this song? I know it. And then like I get like halfway through the first chorus and you see all the light bulbs go off like, oh, this is AC/DC or what, you know? Right. And then I throw them off again by shoving Miley Cyrus in the middle of it. So anyway, anything else you guys wanted to cover before we wrap things up? I mean, is there any interesting stories or gigs or stolen equipment stories? Anything you want to talk about?
Yeah, thank God. Yeah.
Well, let's we haven't gotten booked back there yet, but last year the only time the Phillies won was when we played pregame at Xfinity Live.
Oh, nice.
Hopefully they get us back in there
Yep.
again. And
Now, where in Xfinity Live was like right in the middle somewhere, or was it one of the bars in there?
no, the outside.
The outside
area.
Oh, the outside part. Okay,
So,
gotcha.
That's a lot of fun. We played 3 gigs there last year.
Nice.
But the Phillies one, yeah, that's I keep promoting it. Yeah,
That's
the
right.
only one when we were there, so need to get us back.
Good luck, Charms.
So-
Yep.
What's
Yeah,
some
it's
other good
fun.
stories? Yeah, I mean Caroline's is probably the place where we know the most.
A lot of
people.
stories. Yeah.
Yeah.
and,
Yep.
and good stories. Like there are a lot of
Sure.
good people down there.
Yep.
We always get a good crowd going, and if we don't, I'll go around the bar and get a good crowd going. So and But yeah,
Yeah, it's a lot of fun there. They know how to party there. That's for
It's
sure.
awesome.
and Joe does do a lot of legwork to get us booked at all these different
I
places.
bet. Yeah.
We played down in Maryland. We played down in Virginia. We played this really cool place last year, which was like 3/4 surrounded. I can't even remember where it was. The
Unwind.
what? Yeah, Wind on the River.
Yeah.
And that was.
Okay.
I think our
awesome.
what was it like back earlier in the year? I got a phone call. It was actually through a friend to give me. He recommended us for a strip club, and we actually played there. That was
Really?
yeah.
Yeah.
What was the name of it? Where was it?
It's called the Raven. Where was that at? In Pennsylvania
Somewhere
somewhere.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
Pennsylvania. Yeah.
What was that like? Were you like on stage and the girls are dancing around you? Or,
Yeah,
like-
well, we weren't on their stage, but I
Okay.
mean, it was like they were in between the bar. We were kind of more in the corner.
Oh, okay.
But
Right
you
next
know,
to the pool table.
nothing like nothing like you're sitting there playing and like chicks are like coming up topless to you. You're like, wow, this is all right, we didn't post too many pictures from that show, unfortunately, but yeah, that was definitely an interesting gig.
Yeah, and then my mom showed up.
No way, really?
Yeah, she surprised me because it was kind of near.
I
where we
mean,
live,
also,
Yeah.
but
Did she know it was a strip club? Like
She did.
That's hilarious. Good for her.
she came walking around the corner. I'm like, Mom?
I have to say it was classy at least.
Yeah,
it wasn't
like a
yeah,
dirty one.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
That's cool. Nice.
We did get the.
I've heard about them strip clubs, from other
The
people.
other
but
kind.
yeah,
Yeah. We've only heard about
yeah,
it. We've
right,
never been
yeah,
to those
yeah.
places.
Yeah, wait.
But it was very classy.
All I know is when we went in there, everybody said, "Joe, how you doing?"
Yeah.
You know,
The usual Joe.
Yeah, right.
He's got his own stool at the
Right,
bar.
yeah. Have my nameplate on the back of the seat.
He's like Norm at Cheers.
Right, yeah.
You guys got it all.
We were playing at the Hamilton Carnival.
Oh, you are? Nice.
For
Nice.
the Mount Carmel,
When is that?
July 15th.
July
yeah.
15th.
and then we're also playing the Runnymede Festival. In a couple
Yeah,
of
it's
weeks.
true. Yeah,
Right
right.
on the Black Horse Place.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Runnymede Festival. When is that?
I think it's the second weekend in May. I think.
Okay, so that's coming up. Yeah.
So
Yep.
yeah, one of the cool gigs we played last year was Barb's Harley Davidson on the Black Horse.
Oh yeah. I know that.
I forget what the event was, but Jackie Bam Bam was there.
Oh,
and
cool.
That was a cool. I know it's a day gig, so
Yeah.
we started at 11. We were done by 4. We got fed.
Nice.
We got paid. It was good. Yeah.
That's perfect. That's awesome. All right, cool. Well, thank you guys so much for being
Thank
on the
you very
podcast. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Awesome.
And yeah, look forward to seeing you guys one of these days. Yep. All right, awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yep.
All right.